media, communications, all the fun things. I was in college, and in college I actually was working 2 internships, a part-time job, and then started my own business. I came to San Antonio because I followed a boy, and went to Incarnate Word because I followed a boy. I'm working and I get a message saying I can't do this anymore, it's done, and I get back to our apartment and everything is cleaned out, like completely cleaned out. His stuff is gone, everything's done. I look at my bank account, it's completely drained. It was just overnight. I went from having an apartment and a fiance to no apartment, no fiance, me and my dog out on the streets. My grandmother was often an option. My aunt, even though I had gone to go see her, she was not an option. My mom was barely surviving on her own, and her husband and I didn't get along, and in fact it was a matter of like, you know, if anything happens to you, you're on your own kind of thing with him. I didn't have a safe place to get stable anywhere. There was no option. I ended up having to pawn a ring that my grandmother gave me that she said, she's like, in case of emergencies, this is the ring that you pawn. Like if you need money, you take this ring. And nobody knew, because I didn't want anybody to worry. I didn't want anybody to know that there was a period of time that things weren't okay. And I found myself living in my car. And it was a Dodge Neon, Smurf blue. The driver's side of the car did not lock, and I'd have to, you know, drive around with a liter of Coca-Cola, open the hood, and like put some Coke on the battery with a toothbrush and be able to turn it on. That's the only way it would turn on. And I had to drop out of school because I couldn't afford school and a car payment. You know, I used my gym membership to take a shower. I kept myself clean enough, normal looking enough to where if I did have to go into a Walmart to use the restroom, or a Whataburger, or a gas station, that it was never questionable that I was homeless. I lived like this for 6 months until I had enough of my acorns together to be able to finally get an apartment. Beginning of this pandemic, we couldn't find toilet paper, right? It was difficult to find a roll of toilet paper. Try finding a toilet. To be homeless, you start to become this idea that maybe they don't see me, maybe I'm not here. You start to question the reality of the world. You start to question yourself. It adds to any instabilities that you're already fighting. Nobody wants to feel unsafe in their home. You've worked for that home. I understand that. And you know, and there are times when, you know, the folks out here they'll have an episode and it's scary. I don't invalidate the fear of seeing something like that and not knowing what's going on. But they're human beings. They are not objects. It is not trash. This is a human being. This was somebody's kid. This was somebody's classmate. This is somebody's brother or sister or cousin or friend. At one point, that person sat in a desk next to another person, and somewhere in life, they ended up here. This is not something that was overnight. They decided, I'm gonna be homeless. I'm gonna do drugs. No, there's a numbing that they're trying to do. There's a nightmare that they're running from. There is a need for help that they've never received. We can't just throw them in a jail cell and just pretend like that's over. That's not cleaning up the situation. I wouldn't want help from somebody whose main purpose was to put me in jail, is to accuse me of being a criminal, to call me a vagrant. That doesn't sound like a very welcoming arm of help and support. You're taking somebody who has already lost everything and making them re-experience that again. They are already at ground zero. And you're telling them that they can't have a tent? They're paper walls. It's a sense of security. And there's nowhere to go. It is not illegal to be homeless, but we don't have any legal options for them to be homeless. And it's cleaning up the aesthetic so that way people are like, look, it's clean now. But where did the human beings going? But they did 3 days of outreach prior to. And I told you, I mean, I can't trust anybody in 3 days. They can't get into Haven if they have a mental health issue. They can't get into Haven if they have a drug issue. Can't find them a detox center to get all of that help. Can't find any type of mental, like ED, emergency detainment, to get them, you know, a self-analysis check, because a psych check, because if you have a mental health issue but also are using drugs and there's an overlapping crisis on that case, well, is it mental health or are they coming down from something? I mean, we're doing them a disservice by not caring about what's going on with them. And then they're homeless. So you do these abatements and you're clearing out this area, and it's like, that's great and fine, but then you're upset a few days later because they come back. Where were they supposed to go? Seek to understand before being understood. And I think we all need to figure out how to understand and see things further than just what we're seeing. Not saying that the resources that we have aren't great. I think that Haven for Hope is doing the best they can with what they have, but there needs to be more of an answer than just send them to Haven for Hope. Just get them out of here. They don't want the help. There needs to be more understanding that these are human beings.